Right, so on the back of that, Gauteng MEC for Transport and Logistics Kedibone Diale-Tlabela announced the department's annual festive season road safety operations, which specifically focused on public transport operators today. This as peak holiday season kicks off. We speak to Gauteng MEC for Transport Logistics Kedibone Diale-Tlabela for more. A very good evening to you, Kedibone. Thank you for joining us here on the SABC.
Evening to you and to your viewers at home.
Perhaps you could walk us through, what this period is typically characterized by and what the operations will look like.
You'll remember this is what we do on an annual basis as government to create awareness around road safety. It's basically to remind people of their responsibilities, especially motorists, as and when they use our road in this holiday season. And one of the things that we are doing is to ensure visibility and presence of our law enforcement agencies on the road as and when people leave or enter Gauteng during this season. This is the season where there's high rate of car accidents and road fatalities on our roads. And this is where I think we as a department felt that it's important to ensure visibility and presence of law enforcement agencies. Of course, yes, it's not only our responsibility, and that's why you hear us calling upon motorists to also take responsibility and play a role in ensuring safety on our roads. You have seen a lot of cases is because of human beings themselves either not being compliant with the rules and regulations of the roads in our country. We've seen instances where drivers drive cars that are not compliant and drivers themselves not having valid papers to drive on our roads. So this is really to call upon communities in Gauteng to also take responsibility and make sure that we don't have drunk drivers on our roads, reckless drivers on our roads, but we all become responsible. Especially our message is to those who are operating public transport, as well as anyone, including the private owners, that it's their responsibility. We will play our part, but if they don't play their part, we will all fail. Our wish is to reduce the numbers of car accidents, road fatalities that we have.
Kedibone, just before we get to some of the other contributing factors, including, the issue of safety and security, I want you to talk to the impact of load shedding, what that has had in terms of time travel and also incidences on the road to date.
We have had our traffic law enforcement agencies having plans to ensure that there's free flow of traffic, and that is taken into consideration. You have seen there's pointsmen where there's traffic lights in cases where there's load shedding. We're trying hard to make sure that there's ease of congestion on our road as a Gauteng Department of Transport and Logistics. So that is also taken into consideration, and our traffic officers are alert on a daily basis to ensure that there's traffic flow on our roads.
Were you able to identify where some of those crucial hotspots are? I'm only asking this because, we've seen prior to the festive period, civil servants coming in and, being responsible for conducting of traffic. And we know those have implications beyond, beyond what they're doing. There's issues of insurance amongst others. So during this festive period, what have you done to mitigate against that and also solve that problem?
You would understand that in the metros, we have metro police departments. We have seen in the past few days, in the past month, all municipalities launching their own road safety campaigns and working together as a government, both as local government and as a provincial government. We've put in a plan, an integrated plan to ensure that we ease off congestion on our road, and we ensure road safety. You have seen in all our operations, that's where you always see Metro Police coming from different municipalities that we have in Gauteng. We also have partnered with the Gauteng taxi industry, as well as the faith-based organizations that we have throughout our province. So this is an integrated approach where each and everyone needs to play a role. And that's why today you have heard us also calling upon the motorists and society at large to also take responsibility and work closely with us to make sure that we reduce the fatalities that are there.
Absolutely. I'm so glad you've mentioned that, because on the issue of safety and security, I mean, there's also concerns about transport on both buses and taxis for long distances, given the incidences that have occurred this week alone. And I wonder what you've done to mitigate against that. Also, you know, just in terms of the high police presence and officials that you've spoken about being deployed in and around the country. The province, sorry.
Yes, thank you very much. You'll see there's a whole lot. We are responsible for traffic flow. Our traffic law enforcement officials are on alert on a daily basis during this season to make sure that we are able to reduce. Our wish is to reduce the numbers more than anything. If we can't eradicate them. And that's why you would see us partnering with different stakeholders, calling upon everyone to take a responsibility in this role. No matter how much we go out there through campaigns telling people not to drink and drive, we still find motorists drunk on our roads. And that's why our approach this year is maybe perhaps let's also invite community-based organizations, faith-based organizations to work closely with us and help create awareness in our families, in our churches, and everywhere else where you find motorists in our community, so that we all take responsibility. Our wish is to ensure that we reduce, and we wish everyone a Merry Christmas, and we are hoping that everybody will take responsibility. We just saw today that there was heavy traffic moving out of Gauteng. We were on N1 on Pumlani toll gate. The numbers were big. It was really congested.
Kedibone, I think I was also just alluding to the safety and security issues that obviously came as a result of incidences that happened, where we saw that there's still a manhunt for suspects who were shot and killed, as well as passengers whilst they were en route to Zimbabwe. But obviously, as you put the necessary measures in place, I wonder how you can just quickly speak to the deployment of officials in terms of managing their energy levels, given that it is a peak holiday season and burnout is a thing. How have you also managed to make sure that they are in peak condition and are catered for, so that they can optimally provide the services that are necessary during this period?
Remember, we work as one government. Like I said earlier, we have a provincial integrated approach to this. My colleague in the community safety role, MEC Faith Masbuko, is responsible for crime prevention, and municipalities have metro police departments. So we have deployed well as it comes to ensuring that the safety on our roads, and all different law enforcement agencies are part of the operation. And we are hoping that they will do their best in ensuring that motorists and road users are safe on our roads.
All right, Kedibone, thank you very much for your time here on the SABC. Kedibone Diale-Tlabela is the Gauteng MEC for Transport and Logistics, really chatting about the festive season road safety operations that have been that have been enforced. This, as we see, the focus is on public transport operators. That was launched today, with some of the activities being kicked off in Hammanskraal. Again, thank you very much to her for her time here on the SABC.